welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace. Today I'm going to be showing you my simple everyday makeup routine. This is a makeup routine that I've been following for at least about 4 years now. This is basic everyday makeup, so I'm talking for work, for school, just a very simple look. Not many products have been used, it's just something that looks very natural. I would say that it actually does go in line with clean girl makeup. It is basically clean girl makeup. I'm going to be showing you how I do mine. Enjoy the video. So first I like to start with my brows. I just go in with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter and I go with this alone. I do not fill my brows in and I just like the way it looks. I love the way that it shapes my brows, so I just prefer to use this for an everyday simple makeup look. So what I do is I just go in with the product and then I actually wait for around 10 seconds to go back in again, just to push the brows into the shape that I like. This is because the gel can be a little bit too wet to actually shape your brows when you first put it on. But if you wait for a bit, it will actually get a little tacky and you can then move around your brows as it is tacky. So I've pushed my brows into the direction that I want them to be in. I'm just going back in with this one. Now it's dried and it's a bit tacky. It's going to be a little bit easier to shape and mold to my liking. And now the brows are a lot more flat and I can move them around. In comparison to this side, it's a lot more flat. Do the other side, so simply just using the same method. Now that it's a bit more dry and tacky, I can just go in on the brows and simply shape them a little better because it's easy to move and mold. And that's it for my brows. That's all I do, so very quick and very simple. And then I move on to the foundation. So next I go in with the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear foundation. I go in with the shade Moria. This is honestly my favorite foundation, especially for everyday wear. This is my go-to foundation. The finish is just great. It's really sheer, so I like that for every day. I typically go in with half a pump to around a pump. This is just mainly for every day because it's quite light. I find that it makes my makeup look a lot more natural, which is what I'm going for. So I just go in with a pump. And then what I actually like to do is go in with an applicator brush like this, so a flat concealer brush, and I actually like to take the pump and spread it onto my face, and this just makes it easier for me to blend the foundation rather than putting the pump on my face and then blending it from there. I just like to spread it around so that it's really spread evenly across my face. Okay, so once that's spread on my face like so, I then take my angled buffer brush. I spray the brush with some setting spray before I go in and buffer it into my skin, and this just really helps to keep the foundation stuck onto my face and make sure it doesn't move. I'm actually using the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray by Tilbury. But I have a little story. Okay, so I was in Dubai and for some reason, I don't know if it was like the temperature change, I have no clue, but when I use it now, it literally squirts. So I decanted it into this bottle because the nozzle's just not working anymore. And I was in Dubai when it changed and started squirting, and I squirted it right onto my eye and it was so painful. Literally, it literally squirts. Like, I'll even show you, like, I hope it literally squirts like this. Literally, so I don't know how to fix that, but anyway, I've had to decanter it into this bottle right here, and then I simply just go on my angled brush and I spray it, and I'm just going to work that into my skin until I feel like it's fully blended. And blending is super important, especially for a natural look. Any residue that I have on the back of my hand, I will simply just go in with the buffer brush and press into it and just get the rest of the product working into my skin. I find that applying the setting spray onto the brush actually really helps for that skin-like finish. And for simple everyday makeup looks, I don't really like to apply foundation in areas where I'm going to be putting concealer. This is simply because I want my makeup to last all day and I don't want any pilling under my eyes or on my nose, and I do tend to put concealer on those areas, so I simply just don't put any there. So next, moving on to concealer, I use the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer and I use this in the shade Cookie. This is one of my favourite holy grail concealers. This is like I need this concealer in my life, and you do too. I go in with just a little bit of product, and the main aim here is honestly just to have a very natural look and make sure that I'm using the least amount of makeup possible but still have that makeup natural glow look. So I just go in with a little bit, and I don't do the full triangle under the eye, and I go in onto the nose and on my upper lip area. So that's all the concealer I use, and then I'm just going to blend it with my beauty blender. Sometimes I'll use some setting spray, sometimes I won't, especially if I'm in a hurry. I just honestly just dot it on. The only time I'll use my setting spray is maybe at the end, and also when I put my foundation on and I'm blending it in. And I like to just put the residue of concealer on the sponge onto my lids. With the residue, you're not actually putting too much product on the lid, so it won't pill throughout the day. I basically don't see too much of that pilling on my eyelids because I go in with that technique. That just helps, again, for lasting all day. And that's simply it. Okay, next I go in with the setting powder. This Huda Beauty Holy Grail. I love all these products, honestly. They're all my holy grails, like everything I'm using today. This is like something I use all the time. I have it in the shade Banana Bread, and I simply go in. If you don't have one of these, you're missing out. You need to invest. Seriously, they just make your foundation, your whole base just looks so just perfectly flat. Like your skin, oh, it really gets into the creases, into all of the crooks and crannies. It gets into all the crooks and crannies. It really gets into all of the crooks and crannies, honestly. So if you do not have this, you need to invest. I just go in with my powder puff and press in the powder, and I don't actually bake with this powder, especially for everyday makeup. I just set my face rather than bake. So I just go with the tiniest bit, and then the residue goes again onto my eyelids. Then I go down the nose, and I go in the upper lip area. Now that I've set my under eyes and set the other areas that I've put concealer on, I simply go in with a brush like this, powder brush, to sweep away the excess powder. Sometimes it depends. I might go in with a foundation powder. I have the Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Powder Foundation in the shade 350, and I will use the tiniest bit just to set the rest of my face, but I don't always do this. It depends. If it's the summer and it's a little hotter, then I might just go in with that. So following that, I use bronzer or contour powder for my everyday look. I don't go too heavy with it, and I also don't use bronzer in the typical places, so cheekbone. I just simply use it on my nose. So I go in with just a small brush that is able to follow the lines of my nose simply. And then I have this really extremely old pressed powder and highlighter in one face contour kit in dark by Sleek. And then I just follow the natural lines of my nose. Again, I go in really lightly. I just really like a natural look. If I'm really wanting my makeup to stay in place, I will spray my setting spray again, and this would usually be before mascara. It can be after too, but I find that before the mascara allows for all the base products to come together, and then I don't want my mascara getting wet, so I probably would spray. I'm just gonna go in and spray my Charlotte Tilbury spray in just a different bottle. Then I will go into the eyes. So onto the eyes, I'm going in with mascara. I'm using the Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. Again, one of my holy grails. I absolutely love this mascara, and I apply 2 coats to my lashes. Once I've put the mascara on, I then decide if I'm going to do a highlighted inner corner. I think for this look, I will. The thing I love about this routine is that I can honestly layer it. I always layer it with different things, so it can change each time depending on the occasion. So I'm now going into my Nars Orgasm X palette, my favorite blush highlight palette, and I'm just going in with the highlight color, and I'm going to highlight my inner corners, and this just adds a nice natural little pop to my eyes, and then sometimes I do go in at the end of my nose, but I don't really do it all the time. I would just apply the tiniest bit of highlighter, just very subtly. You can't really see it too well. Once I have put the highlighter on my inner corners and my nose, I'm literally done. I do a lot of things depending on how I feel on the day. So some days I will highlight my inner corners, some days I won't. Some days I will highlight the tip of my nose, some days I won't. When I do apply blush for soft glam looks, I do tend to go in with a liquid blush or a cream blush underneath, and then I'll set my face, and then I go in with a powdered blush on top. But for the natural, simple, everyday look, I just like to go in with a powdered blush, and I'm using the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow. Again, another huge favorite makeup product. I apply it with my angled blush brush. This is a really good blush, so pretty, and the pink is just beautiful. Okay, and that is literally it for base, and then it's time for me to pick out my lip gloss that I'm going to use. I choose from a range of pink to sparkly glosses. I love pink, and I pick from these glosses here. This is the Fenty Beauty Latte Lips Pro Kissalicious Lip Balm. I love this shade. This is the Maybelline gloss. It's got hyaluronic acid in it. I love that. It's so pretty. There's no pink in this, no pink pigment. This is probably the one that I use a lot. This is the Too Faced Lip Injection Lip Gloss, and it's in the shade Wifey for Lifey. Then I also love this Anastasia Beverly Hills Peachy Lip Gloss. So I'm gonna see which one I want. Again, it just depends on what I'm feeling for the day. I think I'm gonna go for... do I want sparkle? I think I'm gonna go in with the Luscious Lip Balm in the shade Latte Lips No. 2 by Fenty Beauty to finish off the look. And that is it. That is my simple everyday makeup look routine. I hope that you enjoyed it. I use this routine for everything. Literally, it is my base, and then depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing, I'll just go in with maybe some eyeshadow or a lip combo or more blush, and that just changes the look. And then obviously I'll also have my soft glam looks as well, which is a little bit of a different routine. So that was it, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video. Make sure that you subscribe and leave a like. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.